As she said, my name is Justine Rapp Farrell. I'm at the University of San Diego, Knauss School of Business, and I'll be chatting today about our paper titled What Drives Consumers to Engage with Influencers, Segmenting Consumer Response to Influencers. So first, let's talk about how the research defines what influencers are. So influencers are generally content generators. They typically have an expertise in a specific area, whether that be fashion, beauty, sports, travel. They have cultivated a sizable number of followers. So you have mega influencers, which have over 1 million, 5 million followers. You have celebrity influencers, which have 15 million followers. And you even have micro influencers, which can have a few thousand followers. But really what makes an influencer is that they are on social media and they have followers that come and view their content regularly. They also have a market value to brands. The job of an influencer is to work directly with brands one-on-one through partnerships or perhaps affiliate linking, where the influencer works to sell product, the brand sells product themselves, and then the influencer gets some monetary and financial compensation for that activity as well. There are 3 primary functions that we believe set influencers apart from traditional marketing. And this is a prior paper that Colin, Campbell, and I have together from a couple of years ago. And we really believe that influencers are so influential and important and unique within the marketing landscape for 3 main reasons. One is that they have the ability to cultivate a specific audience. So like I said a couple minutes ago, they specialize within beauty, and they have this cultivated audience that comes to them to learn and know about all of their beauty advice, and they become the expert within that domain. Influencers also are fabulous social media managers. They know how to create good content. They know how to engage with their customers. They know how to be a social media manager like you would typically see, in-house for branding or within an agency. So they have that specific skill set already built in within them. Influencers are also selective in what they endorse. And this also lends to their credibility and the expertise within their domain. Influencers, if they are a powerful and effective influencer, they don't just take any brand partnership. They're very selective in what they endorse. And then the power of their opinion goes a lot further because their followers feel as though they're able to trust and depend on that recommendation. So influencers are different and special from 2 different angles. From a brand perspective, they're able to generate a lot more organic branded content that fits with that specific brand that they're working with. The content of influencers tends to be a little bit rougher, tends to be a little bit more raw. They may be in their kitchen, just chatting about a recipe. The follower may not know that that's actually a branded content, but it's a lot more casual, which allows for a greater alignment and brand fit. They also allow the brand to have access to a much larger consumer network, and a consumer network that is more keyed in to having an interest in that domain and into that product category. So unlike mass marketing that tends to reach out to every consumer, whether they are interested or not, influencer marketing, you're able as a brand to be more specific and be more targeted into your marketing behaviors. From a consumer standpoint, consumers really love influencers. There's a theory called parasocial relationship theory that actually comes out of the communication studies literature, which talks about how individuals form relationships and friendships with people that they've never met before. And we're seeing this evolve within the influencer marketing domain, where consumers will follow an influencer who has 1 million followers, but that consumer themselves feels as though they have a unique and important relationship with that person. And that comes from a lot of the relatability aspect. Again, like the raw content that is created. A lot of influencers talk about being your best friend, or I have your best interests in mind. And so these products you should have. And that's what really creates a sticky relationship between an influencer and a consumer. So the research questions that we talked about in this paper were, we wanted to know if heterogeneity existed within consumers who follow social media influencers. And if there was heterogeneity, how do these segments differ from each other in terms of motivation and spending behavior? So we started with an exploratory study. We had 4 separate focus groups with 18 total participants. And what we found was that there were 3 main reasons why consumers followed influencers: for entertainment purposes, for inspiration, and then for deal seeking, so couponing or discount codes. We followed that up with a full study methodology. We collected data online through Prolific Academic. We surveyed 938 US consumers who all use social media, and we looked across 4 primary buckets of constructs to measure. The first was just general frequency engagement. What platforms do you use? How often do you click, like, comment, share content for the influencers that you follow? We asked about purchase behaviors. What's the frequency of purchase? How much have you spent on your last purchase, on your annual purchase? What were some of the motivational measures for why you follow influencers? Is it for entertainment? Is it because you find them attractive? Is it because you trust their expertise, among others? And then some personal characteristics about themselves as well. So are you an opinion leader? Are you an opinion seeker? Do you have a desire for uniqueness? Curious to see if these personal characteristics played out within some differences in followers. So we actually found that there were 6 distinct segments of individuals who follow influencers. And we have them on the range of low spending to high spending. And so we focused on spending because we believe that this is an element that's most interesting for brands. Brands want to engage with influencers and bring influencers within their marketing strategy if consumers will spend money on their products or on their services. And so spending is really one of those key dynamics that are interesting to brand managers. And so these are actually grouped a little bit more specifically. So we see here on the high spending, the super fans and the entertainment-driven inspiration seekers tend to be the highest spending segments. And on the low end are these 3 segments: the silent followers, those that follow but don't engage or interact; the spontaneous entertainment-driven grouping; and then those that are influencer unengaged. They don't follow many influencers at all, and they really don't spend much money with them either. In the middle, we have some moderate spending. These are the idea seekers. These tend to be people that follow a select group of influencers for inspiration and to learn more. An example of this could be home decor, where consumers will follow influencers just to get ideas, though they may not be spending as much money or engaging that much, but they are there and they are present. So what does this mean? What are some implications from our findings? First, we did conclude that yes, there is consumer heterogeneity in terms of motivations for following influencers and spending relating to social media influencers. And like I said, they fall into 3 main groups. So we'll dig a little bit deeper here. For the high spending groups, they tend to be highly engaged and primarily motivated by attractiveness. So this doesn't necessarily mean physical attractiveness, but followers rated the influencers that they follow as being a very attractive follower. They want to be like them. They feel engaged with them. They feel as though there is a close relationship. And that tends to lead to the highest amount of spend for consumers. You have the moderate grouping, the idea seeker. They actually follow the fewest number of influencers out of all 6 segments, and they're motivated by deal seekers. But because they are following a very select group of influencers, they do tend to spend every now and then. And then for the last group, the low spending group, these consumers tend to be lurkers. They're there, they do follow some influencers, but they're really not there to engage. They tend to really engage with influencers just from viewing standpoint. They may not like, they may not share, but they enjoy it for entertainment purposes. And so it's really a more one-sided relationship that we see with these low spending contingents. So some managerial implications here is there are significant differences in the way consumers respond to influencers. All influencer marketing is not created equal. Brands should really dig deep and to understand from an influencer standpoint, who are your followers? What are your followers here for? Are they here for entertainment? And is that what you want? Are sales driven through entertainment? Are they here just for deals and coupon codes? Are they here for inspiration? Why are the followers following that influencer? And how can you turn that into higher spend? Generally, we find that consumers are more likely to spend money when they're motivated by influencers who are high performers on all dimensions. And so they're very entertaining, they're very attractive, they tend to offer deals, and consumers get really drawn into that. And so as a brand, you really need to do precise targeting for your resources to determine, okay, if I'm going to spend a lot of money with this influencer, I want to make sure we're getting a lot of bang for our buck. And so are there followers, the type of followers that would be interested in our brand and would then be a successful partnership for us? Thank you so much for listening. I encourage you to read the paper, reach out, of course, if you have any comments or questions. We would love to hear from you. Thank you.